Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice.
These are very serious charges. When you apply it to each document, which could be a separate charge, each of those would involve a separate penalty. Obstruction of justice criminal penalties do involve the possibility of prison up to 20 years per offense. From this vantage point, there is a possibility of prison time because that's what these charges do entail.
The audio that the federal government presumably has is a smoking gun on tape. The former president was acknowledging that documents were classified, and he was not at liberty alone to be able to release those documents even while he's president.
You know, certainly when you show that there is willful violation of the law, that there was a knowledge of the fact that the person accused has violated the law intentionally, that could raise the possibility of longer time.
I'm an innocent man, I'm an innocent person. Our country is going to hell, and they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI.
I think Trump, in many respects, is running out of defenses. Let's begin with the fact that ignorance of the law is no excuse. But there was no ignorance of the law. He has claimed as a defense that he declassified them. But he's declassified them because he thought about it.
If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it.
There's no precedent for that in American constitutional law. There's a precise process for declassification. He didn't go through it.
President Trump has suggested that he's being treated differently from others who have had classified documents in their possession, particularly former Vice President Pence and President Biden. Well, there's some really clear distinctions here. One, they were not aware of the documents in their possession. President Trump, on the other hand, former President Trump, not only had full knowledge that he had the documents, but he refused to turn them over to the National Archives.
Beyond that, the fact that Joe Biden neglected to ensure that he didn't bring back with him from Washington a few documents is a lot different than Trump's situation. Whatever Trump did, it was not inadvertent, it was purposeful. And Trump also took a lot more documents with him. He actually knew where they were. We can surmise that in part by he kept moving them around.
There is just a huge difference between what is a regular fact that people who leave office may end up with a few stray documents in their files that they shouldn't have taken, versus someone who on multiple occasions potentially, allegedly misled federal officials as to what he had and dissembled and hid documents. We're in a very different world with former President Trump. So the significance is one that is highly debated, both for its political ramifications. How does it affect the ongoing presidential campaign? Does it look like retribution, political retribution? If you don't charge a former president who is allegedly guilty of some very serious violations of the law, that would suggest that some people in our system are above the law, and that is extremely dangerous.
The fact that it's a former president underscores the extent to which a president or former president is not above the law, but has to comply with the law just like everybody else in the federal government.